Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at Agaricus blazei mural, or ABM, also known as Cogum lodosol, the mushroom of the sun. It's this medicinal mushroom from Brazil.
Right, and it has quite a history in traditional use. What's really interesting is how it caught scientists' attention.
Yeah, apparently they noticed lower rates of certain diseases in the areas where it grows naturally.
Exactly. So that observation kind of kicked off the research.
So our mission today is to really unpack the science. What does current research say about why it might be beneficial?
We'll look at the compounds inside, the evidence for health benefits, what factors might change its effects, and importantly, any safety things to watch out for.
Consider it digging for those key nuggets of knowledge.
Precisely. Let's get into it.
Okay, so what's actually in this mushroom that makes it special? I know polysaccharides are a big one.
Definitely. Especially the boucans, the ones with 1 or 3 and 1 of fixed linkages. These are really important immunomodulators.
Immunomodulators, so they affect the immune system.
Yeah, they can kind of wake up or fine-tune your immune cells. And ABM seems to have a pretty decent amount compared to, say, your everyday button mushroom.
And these might have anti-tumor properties, too.
That's what the research suggests. They might help the immune system fight cancer and perhaps have some direct effects, too.
Interesting. What else is in there? I saw ergosterol mentioned.
Right, ergosterol, that's provitamin D2, and studies suggest it might inhibit angiogenesis.
Angiogenesis, that's the tumor building new blood vessels, right?
Exactly, cutting off its supply lines, essentially. And it might also trigger apoptosis, programmed cell death in cancer cells.
Okay, so multiple potential ways it could fight tumors.
Seems like it. There's also another steroid called blazin, which showed some anti-cancer activity in lab tests.
And beyond those?
Well, you've got proteins, peptides, some of which are also immunomodulatory antioxidants like phenolic compounds, flavonoids, plus vitamins, minerals. It's quite packed.
It really is a cocktail. But there was one compound that sounded a bit iffy. Agarikine.
Yes, agarikine. It's, a bit controversial. Some older studies raise concerns about it being a potential toxin, possibly carcinogenic.
Oh.
But it's complicated. Other in vitro work actually suggests it might have anti-cancer effects itself. And the really key thing,
What's that?
how you prepare the mushroom. Cooking, like boiling or frying, dramatically reduces agarikine levels. Freeze-drying, though, doesn't seem to affect it much.
Okay, that's crucial context. So preparation method is key for that compound.
Hugely important.
All right, let's shift to the evidence. What do studies suggest ABM actually does in the body, starting with the immune system?
Well, as we touched on with the glucamins, it seems to stimulate both the innate immune cells, think macrophages, natural killer cells, and adaptive immunity, like T and B cells.
So a broad effect.
Yeah, and interestingly, it might help balance Th1 and Th2 immune responses. That balance is important in things like allergies, autoimmune conditions, and cancer.
Any human evidence there?
There are some findings, like studies showing increased natural killer cell activity in gynecological cancer patients taking ABM supplements. Promising, but often small studies.
Got it. Now, what about direct anti-cancer effects in people? You mentioned lab and animal studies looked good.
They do. In vitro, it kills various cancer cells, induces apoptosis. In vivo, in animals, it can inhibit tumor growth. But, and this is a big but,
Yeah.
the clinical evidence in humans is still quite limited. We're talking small trials, sometimes with methodological issues, and the results on big endpoints like overall survival haven't been consistent.
So more work needed there for sure.
Definitely. We can't make strong claims based on the current human data for cancer treatment outcomes.
Understood. What about inflammation? Saw links to IBD.
Yes, preclinical studies in animal models of inflammatory bowel disease look encouraging. And there was a notable clinical study using a specific ABM extract called andosan.
Andosan. What did they find?
In patients with ulcerative colitis, it seemed to improve symptoms and reduce levels of certain pro-inflammatory cytokines.
That sounds positive.
It is, although it's worth noting that objective markers of gut inflammation didn't always show significant changes. So maybe more symptom relief than deep healing, perhaps? More research needed?
Right. And antioxidant effects.
Pretty clear evidence there from lab studies. It scavenges free radicals. Animal studies also show it protects against oxidative stress damage in various conditions. This likely underpins some of the other benefits we see.
Makes sense. Any quick mentions for metabolic health? Diabetes, cholesterol?
Some hints in early research, but again, very limited human data. Actually, there have been some reports of hypoglycemic-like symptoms, like low blood sugar feelings, so that warrants caution.
Good to know.
On a brighter note, that andosan extract also had a positive clinical trial for birch pollen allergy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it showed reduced symptoms and lower IgE levels, which is an allergy marker, so potential there too.
Okay, let's circle back to something you mentioned earlier, how much the preparation matters.
Absolutely critical. The extraction method, are you using hot water, ethanol, enzymes, ultrasound, dramatically changes what bioactive compounds you get and how much.
So a hot water extract might be better
For
for.
getting those water-soluble polysaccharides, like the bulk-glucans we talked about for immunity, ethanol extracts pull out different things, maybe more the sterols like ergosterol.
And bioavailability. Can we actually absorb those big Gogol cans?
That's a good question. Direct absorption is likely low. It's thought they work more indirectly by interacting with immune receptors in the gut lining and influencing the gut microbiota.
Ah, the gut connection again.
Always. And remember, cooking, boiling, frying reduces agarotine, but might affect other nutrients too. Storage matters as well.
So the bottom line is not all ABM products are created equal,
Not at all. The source, the processing, the extraction, it all makes a difference.
which brings us neatly to safety. We covered agarotine and cooking. What else?
Well, the most serious concern is the reports of liver dysfunction or liver injury in some individuals taking ABM supplements.
That sounds worrying. Is it a definite link?
It's hard to establish a direct causal link in every case. People might be taking other things, have underlying conditions, but there are enough reports to warrant significant caution, especially with supplements.
Okay, caution advised on liver health. Anything else?
Potential for heavy metal contamination, like with many natural products, so sourcing from reputable suppliers who do testing is vital.
Good point.
And some in vitro data suggests ABM might inhibit CYP3A4, a major liver enzyme involved in drug metabolism.
Meaning potential drug interactions.
Yes. Also, some potential estrogen-like activity has been seen in lab studies, so maybe caution is needed for people with hormone-sensitive cancers or conditions.
Right, a few things to keep in mind there.
Definitely.
So let's try and sum this up. ABM, the mushroom of the sun, lots of interesting compounds, clear potential shown in lab and animal studies, especially for immunity and maybe inflammation.
But the human clinical evidence, particularly for major outcomes like cancer survival, is still developing and often limited by study size or design. And how it's prepared and extracted massively influences what it does. Standardization is a real issue.
Absolutely. So here's a final thought to leave folks with. Given this complexity, all these different compounds, how they interact, our individual gut microbiomes and genetics, what might truly personalized approaches to using mushrooms like ABM look like in the future? How do we move beyond just general advice?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It points towards needing much more sophisticated ways to match the preparation and the person.
Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for exploring this deep dive with us.